Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Garage Gym Experiment podcast. My name is Adam, and I am joined by more than Jake today. Although Jake is here, we've also got Rob from Vintage Weights PGH, Curtis from the Kurt Locker, and Kyle from Kaizen DIY Gym. We are here with our HomeGymCon recap. We have just finished up the event of the year, HomeGymCon 2023. It was a blast. Hopefully, it's been taking over your feed like it has ours, and we're excited to sit down and talk about it. So HomeGymCon started for us at different points. So fellas, what do you think? We start this thing off and just kind of take it day by day and let the viewers know what we went through and how awesome this thing was. Sound good?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Sounds
great. All right, I got to start with Jake. Jake, when did this thing start for you? Like when did, not start, obviously we can go back to October for planning wise, but the actual starting to start HomeGymCon, getting to the event, setting up.
So the event started Friday. For me, it really started Wednesday when I went and picked up the Penske truck and took that home, started loading up the Penske truck a little bit Wednesday night, and then woke up right, I think at 4 a.m. on Thursday and loaded the Penske truck, which was one of those 3 to 5 bedroom Penske trucks, loaded up with racks and cardio equipment and bars, full. It took me all the way until about 11 a.m. to get done. So
was that just you?
It was just me. Yes.
Ooh.
Did you see that truck? Oh, you didn't. You missed the truck, but yeah,
I missed the truck. But throughout my life, I've made some moves, from apartment to apartment, whatever, in my younger years by myself, and nothing like that, though. I mean, geez.
It's a lot of steel in that truck. And so if you're just listening, you weren't at HomeGymCon. What we're talking about is Jake, Curtis, myself, Kyle. We all came with full trucks of our equipment. We wanted anyone to show up for these morning workouts or even throughout the event to put their hands on some stuff. So Jake and I, and Curtis, we almost brought our whole gym.
Right.
Yeah.
Kurt, you didn't bring your rack, but the amount of strongman implements that were set up, it took up some trailer space, huh?
Oh, yeah. And it was moderately terrifying cruising down some of those very improved Kentucky roads. I had a few moments watching. Everything was secure. Everything was safe. But even when it's secure and safe, when you hit some of those bumps and that trailer was near capacity, you see some stuff go airborne in the rearview mirror and you're like, oh, God, it's about to get real.
Yeah. So I rolled in, I think, Curtis beat me. I guess Executive Fit beat us all. But out of this group, Curtis beat me. I rolled in to French Lick about 1:30 on Thursday. Kurt was already there. So we linked up as I'm walking out of the casino, just kind of checking it out. And got to the convention. Jake rolled in shortly after and started unloading all this equipment. Thursday, I thought was a pretty fun day. We just kind of unloaded all our stuff, set it up. And we were there, probably 1 to 7 or 8. Does that sound right, guys?
Yeah. And we kind of we didn't know where everything was going to go. So it was like a puzzle. Yeah. We knew we had all this stuff. We knew where the booths were going to be. And then we just had to figure out what was the best way to make it look good.
Right. Yeah. So we got our stuff all kind of somewhat laid out, put together. And then we hit dinner, grabbed some burgers, grabbed some beers, went to the casino, called it a night, and got ready for Friday morning.
Oh yeah.
Did the resort handle all the booths and the tables, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. They hire a company.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Who was actually running late, so that actually slowed us down. But it all turned out. And I will say there were a few other companies that came in Thursday and started dropping off their stuff.
Yeah.
Rep was already
crates
there.
were all there. Yeah. So who rolled in and started setting up on Thursday?
Was Team Swing Chefs?
Surplus.
Surplus definitely was. I don't think Team Swing Chefs showed up till Friday, now that I think about it.
I don't think so.
I think about half of them probably rolled in Thursday at some point, right?
Man, I can't even
I think Bells of Steel?
Yep.
Because didn't they drive their trailer all the way to the back?
Yep.
When did Freedom Fitness show up?
I think he came in Friday. Actually, I think there were only a couple that came in Thursday.
Okay. Those are probably the biggest, booth. The biggest displays, Bells of Steel, Surplus, and Rep. So
Right.
that kind of checks out.
Oh, Abmat was in Thursday early with us. Abmat got like their whole booth, like start to finish, done. Everything looked pristine, like right away. I mean, they were in and out. They were very efficient. Thursday.
That was their first.
They definitely were.
It looked great. They had they had some faux walls up, and it looked really nice. Well, that took us into to Friday morning, and Friday was the start of the event for early access people. So the rest of the vendors, well, minus one, but no, one or two were all set up throughout the day on Friday.
There were like 5 that set up on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, 5?
Yeah.
Okay. It was that was a fun day too, because it was setting up, but then it was also like meeting a lot of these vendors. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it got pretty cool. It got pretty full, and it was really cool. All the vendors could just drive up and drop their stuff off. But yeah, it was a pretty cool scene in there with everybody just setting up.
Yeah, I think I was going to get there about the same time as Kyle, but then I'll let Kyle relay why he didn't arrive.
What happened to
at the
Kyle?
same time as me.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, my HomeGymCon kind of kicked off with a bang, because the second I got in, I dropped my stuff in my room, kind of got situated, and as soon as I came down the escalators to the main event center, like Belfed Strength, Chris, Randy, Jason from Surplus, like all these people that I wanted to meet were just standing there and were like, "Hey, you want to go to lunch?" And I was like, "Yes, I very much do." I was like this like new kid in school, kind of feeling like, "Okay, guys, yeah." So I'll have a Reuben. So yeah, I had a blast, like right from the jump. I was like, "Yes," and then I immediately felt guilty because I thought it was going to be like quick. And then right away I was like, oh gosh, this is taking so long. Like I thought I'd like help out or something. And I'm just like hanging out, having a blast. So, it did impress from the very first second I came down those escalators. That was a great memory.
So I was planning on being there probably around the same time as Rob.
Exactly.
And I veered off course because I last minute decided to like build something while I was there. So was planning on leaving around noon and arriving around 2:30. I ended up stopping by the hardware store, and that cost me about an hour. And then I'm like cruising, get almost to Bloomington, and have a blowout. And there's no shoulder for me to, go safely off and change my tire to. I had to like find a little construction area where they were doing a lot of construction in the area, and I found an area where the guys let me pull off to the side and change my tires. So it wasn't too bad. What's going on over there, Jake?
The garage gym.
That's the sound effects for your story.
Right.
Hey guys.
Please don't cut this out.
Just
I
a
will.
quick
Keep that
little
in.
cameo from Jake's fam.
Where were
So I changed my tire on the side of the road. It looked worse than it was. Like if you saw the pictures or the video, like it looked like my tire exploded. It was bad, but I was like totally safe, and I was able to change out the tire. But that set me back another hour. So instead of getting there around 2:30, I arrived at the resort at 4:30, and doors were already open. People were already in there. So I unloaded my stuff. I didn't set anything up. I basically showed up, set everything down, and then did what Rob did. I was just like, whoa, everybody's here in one building. And I was not productive for the rest of the day. I just like ran around talking to everybody. And it was just so cool to meet all of these people that I've been interacting with and, have real conversations that are more than just like whatever I have time to chat right now. And everybody is just so damn cool. Like I didn't want it to end. It was so much fun.
Like the personal attention from the vendors that you got if you went. I mean, that's the takeaway for me.
Yeah.
It was crazy just having like normal conversations with these guys and
Yeah.
just
Well, real quick,
being dudes.
the way these two stories connect is that I'm biting into that Reuben at lunch and like soaking it all in, like, yeah, this is great. I'm meeting these people. Who's this humongous dude that like is with the surplus strength people? And it turns out to be like pro strongman Tyler.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm having lunch with a pro strongman. This is great. So Mike from Nice Like Mike, who I'm thrilled to meet, I'm like, oh man, he's sitting next to me. So all of a sudden, he shows everyone at the table. He's like, hey, does anyone know what to do with this? And it's a picture from Kyle of this tire that looks like a bomb went off in it. Like it's just obliterated. And everyone at the table is like, oh my gosh, like, is he okay? I don't know. No one knows what to do. And then pro strongman Tyler's like, oh, I know what to do. Hand me the phone.
Right. Because
So,
I
it was,
pulled
like,
all the
so
lug
quick.
nuts off, and I didn't know, like, it was like the wheel was stuck on the axle, and like that's never happened to me before. Every time I've changed the tire, it's just popped right off once the
Just
lug
gotta
nuts come
kick
off.
it.
So I called Mike, and I was like, "What? Am I forgetting something? Like I haven't done this in a couple years. What am I forgetting?" And Mike's like, "I have no idea, but I'm at a table with a bunch of dudes, so let's find out." And then
Plus
Tyler
Randy.
grabbed the phone, FaceTime me. He looked at it. He was like, "Yeah, dude, turn around and kick it."
Yeah.
So I was like, "What? It's not working." I did it like 2 or 3 times. He's like, "No, really kick it, like really hard." And about
So then
5
I
or
was
6
on
of
the other
those
end
and
watching
loosened
all
up.
this.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, at the time I wasn't laughing. It was, we were all pretty concerned about you. I didn't know if you were towing a trailer. I was like, oh my God, like a tire blowout. This is horrible.
Thank goodness. No, it was just me and my Tundra, and everything was in the bed of the truck. So
That's good.
it wasn't that bad. It could have been a lot worse. Like I think my lucky stars, I was still able to make it. It didn't like screw up the trip or anything. It was literally just a 1 hour delay, and I made it there. And then it was even more triumphant once I walked through those doors.
Well, you came in right around time of early access on Friday, and that's where the energy started like picking up. The chatter really started going. Everyone's in the room. Got strangers coming in the room now. A couple people paid for that early access, and it was just a really cool scene to walk around and see everything. Had some people like starting to lift, which was cool. You look over and Brian Hennessy's taking everyone through like the squat max like initiation, which is fun. I got on one of those initiations like, oh man, this is it was a trip.
Well, I think too, like, Kyle, you mentioned just rolling in at like when it was pretty much set up, and you probably had no idea what it was going to look like along with like everyone else. Like for months, they've been like, is this thing even legit? And then I think once it was all set up, that's when I was like, okay, this is actually like a legit thing. It looks really good in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It all came together really
great.
nicely.
The escalator.
It's all that brute force getting
review.
it all set up.
Yeah, well, yeah, Rob, speaking of the escalators, like you go down, first of all, like the 2-mile hike from the hotel. I mean, when you say resort, I mean, this place is huge. My kids are like, I'm getting texts from I'm getting texts. My kids are at the bowling alley in the basement. I was like, okay, whatever. Bowling alley in the basement. Sure. I believe it. But yeah, you go down these escalators when you finally get to the end of the hall, and it just opens up with swing sesh right in front with this giant like play set that's a gym. And yeah, it just had a really nice feel to it. That Friday led right into the first dinner, had some drinks with the vendors, which was really cool. Really had some good conversations with anyone you wanted to. Everyone was open for some awesome dialogue. And yeah, like I said, everyone was just like, it was very surreal to talk to all these people like you talk to a buddy, which was great. Sat down and had a nice dinner. And then I thought the coolest thing is I went to the casino after that dinner, and I went really quick. And as I'm leaving, the line of just like vendors and HomeGymCon attendees, like going into that casino for a good time was a pretty cool scene. So how was your guys' Friday night?
I'm going to be honest. It like all really blends together. So
I know.
Friday night was great. The dinner was awesome. Jake gives really good at public speaking. It was like you said, it was just a really good time. I like that was the social hour out on the terrace thing, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What?
So that was fun. Everybody kept coming outside.
Yeah.
There was like an outdoor
outdoor
area. Yeah. So there was like an outdoor area, and it was really funny. So we, humans tend to congregate in circles. So we had a small circle going on outside. And of course, I'm like staring into the sun while everybody's looking back at me. And I was like, let's make 2 lines. And the second that we made 2 lines, somebody else walked out and just like stood and stared straight into the sun. But it was fun. It was really interesting, really surreal. Because I think for a lot of us, these vendors and some of these other, gym owners, even if they're just attendees, someone I've never even talked to before. It's just really interesting because we all had that common background, that common foundation in the gym. And really it goes beyond that because it's a common foundation in the things that we all believe in, which is, fitness, family, and health for the most part.
Yeah.
Well, that
I
wraps
don't
up
remember
our
anything else.
Yeah, before we go to Saturday, I want to just mention I let Patrick from Bridgebill in the building
Oh yeah,
at
I forgot about
11:15 at night.
Oh, man.
They worked through the night. I think Patrick said they got done at like 5 a.m. and their booth could have been the very best.
Oh,
That's awesome.
It was so good. But yeah,
that rig was tall.
They worked through the night to get that set up.
That's
I
wild.
was like, I gotta go to bed. Sorry, guys.
It's funny you mention that because when I walked by, I kept seeing it and thinking, when's Bridgeboat getting here? Because they were kind of like one of the vendors I really wanted to check out. I'm like, oh man, I hope they didn't cancel or something. So I was thrilled on Saturday when I came down and saw them.
Yeah, Friday night I went to so AbMat didn't stay in the resort since it was so many of them. They just got like an Airbnb cabin that was like 4 minutes away. So I went out there, and that was actually it was cool. It was like where the cabin was situated was on the top of a hill, and they just had a bonfire overlooked, like, I don't know, it's really hilly in that area. So it just kind of overlooked French Lick. It was really cool, really chill. And then again, to just like sit down at a campfire and drink beers with Austin and Dylan from AbMat and just like talk all this industry talk and like get, the down and dirty on like, what goes on behind the scenes. It's just like really, really interesting to hear them and to talk with them and to get that sort of like, behind the scenes view on how they conduct business. And yeah, it was really cool. I ended up staying up really late that night waiting for my wife and kids to arrive. So I went into Saturday with like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep. And then I like rushed in because I hadn't set anything up on Friday. I rushed in to like try to set up before doors open, stopped by First Form and grabbed a bunch of beef sticks and some freaking pre-workout and was just like munching that stuff all day. I don't think I had a real meal until like 3 or 4 in the afternoon, but I wasn't tired. I was just buzzing on the energy of that building and like being with all of these awesome people. It was super cool. Anyway, we can get into day 2 because day 2 was super badass.
I want to touch real quick on that First Form thing, though. Those guys were absolutely lifesavers.
Crazy.
Because I forget to eat. I know it's like a weird thing, but I actually lost 5 pounds over HomeGymCon weekend.
Jeez.
Because I would just not eat.
Yeah.
I would just like, oh, okay, whatever. So like, go to First Form. They're like, you look like crap. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, plug me in.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, cool. Here's this concoction. Go. Yeah, go pull this max effort deadlift.
Time flew by. I mean, the messages I sent on like Monday said basically the same thing to people apologizing. Like, oh my gosh, I wanted to talk with you, but like time just flew by. But yeah, I wanted to ask Jake, like, before we get to Saturday, your speech, I'm not going to relay it all, but your speech was basically recounting Friday night at dinner, how like things came together, this process over the past 6 to 8 months. So then what were you feeling Friday night, Jake, seeing it in person, were you still, were the nerves still there? Butterflies still there? Were you just kind of in the mode of getting work done? What were you doing?
I think I was just really impressed with the setup. I thought it turned out really well. Kind of like I said earlier, I didn't know what to expect. I don't think anybody knew what to expect. And I thought all of the vendors just did a phenomenal job. And I think that was the thing that kind of made me feel a little bit more at ease, just because it just looked so good. I knew that the weekend and then everything else pretty much went relatively smoothly. There were definitely some hiccups. Like we ended up having a delay with the mics and this and that, but in general, I don't know if I was even processing. I was just like going, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, rolling into into Saturday. We started with that Saturday morning early workout, which was pretty cool. People started trickling in. We had some vendors like working out with people, which I thought was awesome. Belt fed over there, squatting. I started playing with Kurt's strongman stuff, and I'm getting all these like tips from vendors because I've never touched a strongman implement, and Kurt's coaching me up, and so just like playing around with that stuff was really cool. And then just like the random people coming in, and I saw this one group, and they were very strategic on how they attacked the 2 morning workouts. So for the first one, they got their leg day. So they're on the squat max with Brian, and then they're over grabbing the Mars bar. They're touching all the things. And then the next day they're like, okay, it's dumbbell day. And we had, 7 different types of adjustable dumbbells. And so they're touching each of them to get their hands on those. I just thought you could have really taken advantage of testing out equipment if you really wanted to. But yeah, that Saturday morning workout was cool. You fellas were down there working out. What do you think?
Yeah, it was good. The vendors, I didn't. So Jeff from Primal Armor, I didn't realize that it was Jeff from Primal Armor lifting with me. I was like, wow, this guy's actually pretty strong.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, gotcha. Sorry, I haven't met you yet. No, it was really cool. So the Saturday morning workout was solid. We had we basically just focused on like log and moving stuff and just kind of played into what people wanted to do. But I agree, it was an awesome opportunity to go. And I think that was like one of the big allures is that, a lot of strength equipment can be expensive. And so an event like HomeGymCon is an amazing opportunity to go try the squat max without having to drop $2,000 on a squat max, and go try the Havoc triads, go try like whatever. Because you had the other rotating handle adjustable dumbbells, the Nuo bells, those basically, whatever you wanted to get your hands on. Did you want to see the isolator versus the goat? Did you want to see this bench, that bench? I think we had pretty much between rep and what Jake and Adam and I brought, I think we had like one of everything. And then Surplus Strength had their brand new Aegis bench. So it was a lot of fun. I didn't venture too far out of the strongman area, and Garage Gym Life actually scared the snot out of me. I thought he was about to die. So he was. I didn't know he was doing this. So he reaches down and grabs the big top circus dumbbell, which is like just a 12-inch globe circus dumbbell, weighs 125 pounds empty. And his intent that I didn't know was that he was going to bent press. So he was going to like bend to the side and lift it up over his head and then stand up straight. So I'm standing with Jeff from Primal Armor, and we were talking about yokes or something. And all of a sudden, out of my peripheral, I see this 125 pound dumbbell, and it looks like from my angle, it's coming down on him. And so my immediate thought is, oh crap, my first injury has arrived. And so I sprint over there, and as I get over there, I see his wife is just calmly standing there filming him. And I'm like, oh, okay. So she's either sadistic or this is normal. And then he pressed it, and I was like, oh, you actually just scared me half to death. So really got my heart rate going, but yeah, the workouts are great.
I missed that, but I saw his video, and he said something to the effect of this is what scared Kurt. And it's very funny to hear the other side of that story, because I was like, why would that be scary to Kurt? That doesn't make sense. But
zero context and the worst angle. Yeah. The absolute worst angle to see. Oh God. So nothing bad happened though. We pressed it.
Cool.
Good.
He has some great strength history knowledge and has some cool videos of various older lifts and things like the bent press. So I wasn't too shocked to see him do it, but it was funny to hear him talk about your fear of him doing it.
Yeah. I saw a video of him. Did he Steinborn squat like a Mars bar or some sort of safety squat bar or something?
I think a safety squat bar. He Steinborn squatted that. And then I don't think he has other videos before HomeGymCon of the Arthur lift and various other things. So yeah, good stuff. I support all that.
Yeah, well, speaking of John and Garage Gym Life, he was one of the many content creators, you too, Rob, Kyle, going around and just grabbing everything you could in that weekend. That's really taking advantage of your channels. And I mean, it was so cool to see that stuff pop up now.
I got to give credit to John from Garage Gym Life and to Ashton from Freedom Fitness, because what Kyle said about Friday night is basically what my Friday night was. I wasn't productive at all. I was just like a starstruck child wandering around, like just looking at stuff and saying hi to people and like, hey, I know you. Like, and they're like, I don't know you. So yeah. But then when I went to bed Friday night, I looked back on the night and I remembered seeing like they were so methodical. Like Ashton and John would like booth to booth, like video, that I was like, oh man, I want to talk with some of these people. Like, this is my chance. So I kind of laid out. I had breakfast very early Saturday morning, and while I was eating, I just kind of laid out like, okay, where am I going today? What am I doing? And I interspliced, instead of a traditional workout, just also I had a plan of like what I wanted to try out. I just kind of threw programming or any kind of training that made sense, to the side, because like you've all said, this was my chance. I wasn't going to like not try a piece of equipment because, oh, this is leg day. Like I wanted to try it. So I just kind of went around and tried whatever I wanted and filmed some stuff. And it was like interview boot camp. Like I went through, I think I interviewed 9 people in the span of like 4 hours. So, you learn a lot if you do something a lot. So I figured this is the chance. Like it's a captive audience. They're not going to escape me. Like they're trapped in this room.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and Saturday was our. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I wasn't methodical about it. I didn't interview anybody. I basically was just trying to like remember that I need to capture footage. Like I went into the weekend with the plan that I would make sort of like a vlog video. Like this was my experience, and so a lot of what I captured was centered around like the things that I saw, the people that I talked to, the booths that I went to. But it was hard because like when you're having like a real deep conversation, you don't want to be like, oh wait, stop, that was really good, let me get my camera out and mic you up. You just want to like keep going with that conversation. And so I found that like Saturday and especially on Sunday, I just didn't get much footage at all. So a lot of what I'm putting together is like montage footage of like, here's this booth and this over here and this over here, and me just basically saying hi to people. And after I said hi, I would turn my camera off and like have a conversation. So it's like, here's Kurt, what's up, Kurt? Camera off. Here's Rob, what's up, Rob? Camera off. So I mean, it's hard. You want to get a good balance. You want to have a good time. You also want to like capture the moment so people who didn't go can live vicariously through you. But I feel like there was so much more that I could have done. And now that I've experienced it, I'll have a better game plan going into next year.
Yeah. Well, speaking of capturing footage and things like that, Saturday was our big day for the spectacles. Started with the log lift. We had the bench press challenge with Midwest Kong. We put up 74 that day. Is that right? 74, 76, something like that at 225 pounds bench press rep with
74. Yeah.
With Matt.
Crazy.
Yeah, Matt winning, spotting him on the bench. That was pretty cool. And then the deadlift party. Oh yeah, the bridge built plates, the bulletproof plates. Check those out. Rob has those on his channel if you guys want to check those out. And then it took us into the deadlift party, which was, I mean, it got hyped. It was so cool. Starting with that log lift and then, just nicely spaced out. We went log lift, bench press. There was a little downtime, and then that deadlift party. And the deadlift party was pulling people in from the audience. If you wanted to pull 225 for reps, oh man, that girl from AbMat, she pulled 225 deadlift 30 times. She probably weighs 130 pounds. I mean, it was impressive.
Awesome.
My 4x12 to 15 last night on deadlift was at 245. And I was just like thinking about her, like, Jesus. But that was cool. Some guy stepped up, pulled it 50 times. The next guy pulled it 60 times. He had cut up shins. It was, it was really cool to watch. Kurt, you were lifting in 2 of those, log lift and then deadlift party. How'd your numbers turn out? How'd you do?
Log lift did not go how I wanted. I only went up to like 235 or something like that, and then I missed 255. But 255 isn't too far under my old like when I'm peaked, and then yeah, I'm a small, strong man. But the deadlift number was great. No idea how. So Randy from BeltFed, again, people seem to really could tell visually that I looked like crap. And she's like, I'm going to go get you a sandwich. And so she like went and bought me a sandwich. And so in between reps, I'm walking over to the BeltFed booth and eating. But yeah, I ended up pulling for 545, which is either a 20 or a 30 pound all time record.
Wow.
Heck yeah.
Fueled entirely by that awesome audience. Jason from Surplus Strength screaming in my ear. Jeff from
Great
Primal Armor
picture.
in my other ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great picture.
Yeah. And then I get Patakia, I think is what it's called. I probably get that name wrong. I break blood vessels in like my cheeks and that kind of stuff pretty frequently. I got back to my room after the deadlift party to take a quick shower before dinner, and my entire chest was just completely speckled. And I was like, whoa, like that got real quick. But that deadlift party was a deadlift party with the Red Ranger, turning quite literally blue.
Purple.
Like it's not even purple anymore. Yeah.
Who was the Power Ranger? Everyone kept asking me, and I didn't know.
That
His
was
name's-
TD Smash's coach, right, Jake?
His name's Michael Baxter.
Oh
What did
my
he
God.
lift? Did he pull almost
730? 730?
I was going to say it was.
For people not
740?
there was a gentleman dressed as a head to toe with full helmet as a Power Ranger deadlifting.
And I don't want
Hey,
to
let's
say
not forget.
I don't want to
You
say
go
he's
ahead.
not big, but he doesn't look like a guy who could
No.
pull 740.
He's
So to
tall.
see him
Right.
step up and
Yeah.
pull 740, I was like, oh my! He kept going. Like when we were at like the
Go Power Rangers.
630 number with Koala picking up 630. How much do you guys
Yeah.
think Koala weighs?
Oh my
So
Koala
I train with
barbell.
him.
Yeah.
He
What
comes
is
up
he-
to my gym and trains. He weighs like he competes. I think
Incredible.
is a 181.
And he pulls almost 700 pounds. It was insane.
He put up
He
a
called-
log
those big
He
185
called me
on the log.
old.
Yeah.
He's like, you're old.
Yeah. He jumped in the log randomly too, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
there goes Koala. So yeah,
Heck yeah.
Joel.
Jump in there. He'll do some stuff. He's done like yoke, and
Yeah.
he'll usually like school me in bench squat or dead.
Uh-huh.
And when he comes up to my place to train, because he lives lives right now down in Cincinnati,
Cool.
so it's like 30 minutes away from my house. So he'll come up and train periodically. So when he whoops my butt in bench squat or dead, I'll take him out and whoop on him a little bit with something strongman related just to make myself feel better.
There you go.
Yeah, Koala.
Yeah, seeing someone like weigh like that and pick up that weight was awesome.
Yeah.
And he was doing Jeffersons. I don't know if you guys picked up on that.
Yeah.
He jumped into the after party. So it was like the big guys. Then it was the 225 rep fest, which I like slowly started to sneak away and hide because I'm like, nah, I'm not like,
Yeah.
this isn't in my life today. And then, yeah, Joel hopped in with us. Koala Barbell hopped in with us. And he's like, well, I already went, but like, what should I do this time? And like, he did a complex where it was like he pulled the weight sumo, pulled it conventional, and then pulled it Jefferson. Real ADD, but still like that
Savage.
energy was great. That deadlift party,
Forgot
I
the
remember
hack.
that being a really high point for me.
Well, the TD who took the mic and emceed it just crushed it.
He did. He
It
did
was
so good.
He was.
Brought
He
some
started
awesome
singing
energy.
Blake
Yeah,
Shelton.
I was just
I
gonna
was
say, he
like,
was singing at
yes.
some point. I don't even know what inspired it. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't,
Well,
Yeah.
what he did, in my opinion, was he drew the crowd. Like
Yeah.
like I saw people kind of look because I was kind of circulating on the outskirts of it, and yeah, I saw people kind of look over and like, what's going on? Like, so he did a great job.
Well, he did a good job of making like a transition that wasn't even on the schedule. It's like, okay, here's these 7 really strong guys, and he just like, I think it was him. He just like turned it into like this community event where
Who wants
like,
next?
Yeah, another like 50 people ended up getting on there.
Yeah,
Which
that
is-
deadlift party lasted for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it stayed that hype pretty much the whole time. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
Well, I think the quality of the thing about the attribute of both the log lift and the deadlift that I think is, a good kind of example of Home Gym Con is that it's a great mix of these athletes. That some of them are these elite athletes, some of them are home gym owners that are just ticket holders that came to the event. Some of them are vendors that are at the event. Like, it's just a mix of everybody there having a good time.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So throughout the day, we had those 3 spectacles, and then we also had our pull-out talks as well with Rob, you talking to Matt Winning. That was a good talk. I sat through about 3/4 of that. I had to step out every once in a while and help out and get back in. From what I heard, it was awesome. We had 3 or 4 other talks. It ended with Matt Vincent. He was cool. I know who he is, but I've never gotten to like really listen to him talk, and super impressed. He had a really cool talk. He stood up on the stage and he was like, "Do you guys want me to do this on the stage, or you just want to have like a conversation?" He's like, "Fuck it, let's go to a table." So we all got around a table, and it was this really intimate conversation with him, which is pretty cool. Ended with one more talk, and then it's out to the golf course, which, Jake, I'm not gonna lie, you building up to it, I thought you were overselling the golf course until I saw it. But Jake always had the term like, it's like one of the most beautiful golf courses in the world. I was like, okay, Jake, I've seen some pretty golf courses. And then you get up to the golf course like, oh my God, this is one of the prettiest courses in the world.
Yeah.
Like, this thing's amazing. It was awesome. And
not to mention our trolley driver.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Like, oh, was that a stop sign? Oh, no. Okay. I mean, it's a big hill, so you really got to get a moving start.
yeah,
That's
so
a compliment. She did great. It wasn't scary. It was great.
It was all the, you're jumping on a bus with, all these vendors that, again, like people, you're like, oh, we're just guys going up to the golf course.
That's
And you're
when I
driving
met
up to this.
Swing Sesh.
Yeah, there you go. You're
Like,
driving up to the second highest point in Indiana, and it's this bonfire and live music and drinks and dinner, and the venue was amazing. We stayed out there till after dark with that fire, and the conversations were
The
amazing.
fire was great.
Yeah.
Food was good too.
Food was good.
I liked the food. I described it to
Food
my
was great.
wife that like the dinners were kind of like a wedding, only way better food than most weddings I've ever been to. Like, you're at the table, you get your food, you do your thing. But yeah, really good food.
Jake, did you want to make your speech announcement now, or do you want to wrap up this podcast with that one? Should we finish up talking about the event, and then you can talk about what's to come?
Yeah, we can. So at the speech, I really just, as Kurt mentioned, great public speaker, but really just wanted to thank everybody for coming out, and like everybody put in a lot of work. And then we made announcements for 2024. I guess I can just say them. So we're doing it again next year in
Woo!
French
Can't
Lick.
wait, man. I'm ready. I'm ready right now.
I know.
If you said it was this weekend,
I was
I would
gonna say,
fucking go.
Can we do it next month?
It is.
Can we do it again next month?
It is end of April, so it's 2 weeks later in the year. So it'll probably be in about a year. So for April 26th and 27th, I think, are the dates we are leaning on, and we're gonna, I think this first year we really set a really good base for what's to come, and I think there's with a whole year instead of just 6 months of prep, it's going to be 10 times better. Not that it wasn't great this year, but we're going to have quite a bit more. We're already in talks with 3 things are pretty much guarantees already, and this is just 1 week after last year. So we're probably going to be doing a powerlifting meet ran by one of the companies, a strongman competition already in the works, arm lifting USA. We'll probably be doing something, and we're probably going to we're in talks with doing a very serious Olympic weightlifting meet, and we'd like to do something with CrossFit, or like, not with CrossFit, but like probably some sort of CrossFit style event. And then we're also going to be doing creating something new with the Garage Gym Games, which we'll announce more in the next few months. But I think it's going to be something really cool where we combine kind of all of the major sports, some of what we mentioned earlier, put them into one big packaged competition, and we'll have the winner of the Garage Gym Games. So as of right now, I think we'll probably have like a couple handful of participants, probably 3 or 4 months before, if not earlier. We'll try and get some sort of either online competition or some sort of online application process to earn yourself into the Garage Gym Games. But yeah, that should be something that's pretty cool too. Something that nobody has ever seen, and it will be at the 2024 HomeGymCon. So
Sweet,
I
dude.
wasn't necessarily prepared to announce all that, but yeah. So a lot, like within the past week, a ton has happened, and we should be reaching out to vendors like ASAP. Hopefully by the time this is released, there may even be some, like we may have already started reaching out with vendors. So basically the big difference in last year versus what's coming this year is, I mentioned we pretty much crammed it all within 6 months, didn't really get momentum until the last few months. So we started piling on vendors basically with just a few months left to go. So this year we're going to try and get on top of things. We really want to, we had a few hundred people here this year, but we wanted to like 5 to 10x that this year. I think it's possible if we, get all of this rolling. So.
So if you're a power lifter, Olympic weightlifter, strongman, you're training at your home in your garage, like we're going to have a competition there for you.
Grip strength.
And Jake, I can't wait. Grip strength. Yep. Can't wait to see your ideas on what the Garage Gym Games specifically is going to be, because I cannot wait. My mind has been racing ever since we left French Lick about getting back to French Lick.
Yeah, same, man. I've been like a junkie that's scrolling Instagram like every day, every minute, just like give me more videos, man. Like just I want to relive it vicariously. And what's really cool about seeing everybody else's videos is that they're different from my experience. So I didn't get to talk to everyone that I wanted to talk to. I didn't get to try out every piece of equipment that I wanted to. But then, everybody sort of had that experience because there was so much to do. So everybody's posting their videos like puzzle pieces, and they all kind of fit together to encompass the entire weekend. So, man, I cannot wait until we get to go out there again.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
And then we should probably just mention Sunday was pretty slow. I think everybody was kind of tired from the longer weekend, and it was just a half day, so we probably could have done without it. But it was basically a day where we had a few good talks actually. So there were some good talks, like Matt Vincent did something.
I went to the Inventors Roundtable.
The Inventors Roundtable with Rob was good. So those were good.
Switch that up. Matt Vincent with Rob. And then
I did
Inventors
both.
Roundtable. Oh, you did both.
Yeah,
he did both.
I was podcasting for like ever. It was great. It was an awesome experience, but I was in that room for like
I'm sure
3+ hours.
So,
but it was really, I think one of my absolute favorite moments of the whole weekend was Inventors Roundtable, just seeing the interaction between those guys live in person, sitting in front of me, seeing how they interact with each other, how they speak with each other. And it was just really cool to see some of these inventors and owners of these companies. I don't want to give away too much because, listen to the podcast, but when you do listen to the podcast, you'll see what I mean, that they're just kind of like in it to win it. Like they weren't attacking each other. They were in it together and had just such a cool relationship with each other and history with each other. And then Matt Vincent was great. Same with Matt Wenning. So I couldn't have asked for more, but I was so sad though, because I came down and these guys had come to like meet me that I've been chatting with on Instagram for a long time, Buck's Gym, and they came up and saw the podcast. I was like, yeah, let's go down to the event center. And then they were like, it's all pretty much packed up. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I looked at my phone and I was like, oh no, it's over. It was like 10 after 1. I was like, oh, I missed it. So I went downstairs and it was so sad seeing all the moving trucks coming in, and I didn't get to hang out with those guys that much. And what a letdown coming downstairs to see that. So, hey, looking forward to next year.
Yeah, when we're discussing dates, Jake and I had the conversation today, and it's like what to do about Sunday. And Jake, were you kind of leaning towards like full days, Friday, Saturday? Is that nothing you want to talk about now? Sorry.
Yeah, I guess
Come on, let's plan it on the podcast,
I guess we
bro.
can plan it. So
Do
yeah,
we get to give input?
yeah,
I think it should be all week, man.
A week-long event.
Don't cut a day out. Add 5 more days, bro.
well,
Kurt, what do you
basically the thought is, I think for like someone close, it'd be nice if they can knock it out as quickly as possible. But there's also vendors coming from far away. They don't want to like just go for a day or like a day in an early access. So I think we'll probably do 2 fullish days, like starting around 10. I think that's kind of what we're leaning towards. And there's a lot of competitions.
Which
I think
I don't want to miss
it's
one for the other. You know?
Right.
Yeah, I
discussed
think
that
with
too.
the size crowd we had this year, the a shorter time frame would have worked. But I truly think next year could do very like we could really bring in a good amount of people. And yeah, so that's kind of what we're leaning towards. Just Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday is just a head out, like you pack up and leave. And then one thing that was cool at the end of Sunday though, like a lot of the companies were selling stuff for cheap, or they were like discounting really heavily.
Like
I think that would be
sale
better.
going on. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, the thing was a lot of people left before all of these things were being announced, so it would have been better if it was Saturday evening. So that's what we're also thinking, like just do it at the end of Saturday.
Did you see Primal Armor's post by chance?
He sold out all his bars.
I think it's the
I think he had
greatest
one
testament.
left.
He sold it, I think.
He sold it all.
Did he sell it?
His
Nice.
posts, like any small business owner that is like on the fence, like should I come to HomeGymCon or not? Check out Primal Armor's post about how he like just thought, I'm a small business, I'll just go check it out. Maybe I can like meet some people. And he goes on and on. I won't retell it all, but like basically saying that he not only networked, but like it blew him away. He sold out his entire booth. He networked. He met a ton of people, a ton of customers, other vendors. So I think it was a really good kind of testimonial to any small business owners to, come on out to HomeGymCon.
Black Widow sold out of their stuff too. Dean over at Black Widow.
Yeah.
There was a lot. AbMat almost sold all their stuff.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys, who was your favorite booth?
Oh,
Strongman booth.
Man, come on. So I would say visually, the AbMat booth looked the most professional. Like, they told me, or they told everybody, like that was the first time they had ever done like a trade show, and it didn't look like it. Like that shit looked so well done. It was amazing. But I was equally awed by the swing sesh setup, because you go down those escalators and that's the first thing you see. And, to see all the families, all the kids playing with it, that was magical. The bridge built booth was amazing. And then the first form freaking mega truck.
That was sweet.
I mean, I know you said favorite and I listed 4, but they were all amazing, man. It's hard to pick one.
It really is hard to pick one.
I hadn't.
It's hard.
Yeah. And like, did you see like the finishes and like the stuff that Black Widow brought?
yeah.
Like
Yes.
their setup was super cool. Like, yeah. Even Jimmy quipped like some of the knurling on their like smaller pieces. So good. I was talking to Black Widow and they were like, it was Friday, it was early access, and I had stayed over there for about 30 minutes talking to them, and they had said, you know what, this is already worth it for us because we didn't know it. Gym Equipped is right in our area, and we just talked about what we can do for them as far as manufacturing, what they can do for us. We would have never made that network if we didn't come to HomeGymCon.
That's awesome.
Like, it was awesome.
I mean, everyone you named for sure. And I loved Bridgebuilt's booth. I really enjoyed Freedom Fitness had a ton of stuff there. And so there's so many that I really enjoyed. But one that really shocked me, one that just kind of like surprised me, was I was walking along and, you have these like, there's like a monster truck sitting at First Form and there's all this like humongous stuff everywhere. But then there was just this dude like sitting behind a table, nothing there except for some bench blocks. And I was like, hey, you do the bench blocks? And he was like, yep. And I loved talking with Steve. Like, he was the best. Like, I hung out with Steve for probably an hour. And then I actually ended up hanging out with him at dinner Saturday night too. But there's just something about that, like all this stuff everywhere, but then just like a very down-to-earth guy just sitting with his product. He had maybe like 10 bench blocks just sitting on his table, didn't have a banner, didn't have anything. He like dug a sticker out and gave it to me. And but then that's the other thing, he was literally giving away the bench blocks. He was like, yeah, and not just me, like anybody, like someone walked up and said, hey, what's this? He'd be like, well, take it home. It's like he was awesome. So it just kind of, I don't know, he was probably like the most surprising vendor to me in such a great way. So, and I've used a bench block for quite a while, and I think it's a pretty common staple in a home gym. So it was neat to talk with him.
I did like that surplus booth though too. I just got to say, I got to fanboy it. Yeah. Plus all the racks they brought. You talk about finishes. So like Black Widows, that green, I don't know what it is about OD green, but I dig it. Mm-hmm. But then if you go and look at surpluses and Bridgebuilt's finishes, I think that's something that's really starting to come up with these smaller manufacturers, is those little details. So with JD, the Neural, with Black Widow, it's their textured powder coat and the look of the paint. And then with Surplus, it's that flat textured, but colors other than black. Like normally it's just like flat black textured powder coat. But theirs is like, hey, this is a black and orange, or this is a red and white, or this is a gray. It just looks really good, feels really good. Plus, Barbell Rescue was in there. Right. Plus, they had the Pep and Fast Series dumbbells. Plus, they had
Obsidian Ammonia was on
Obsidian Ammonia, which
Slant
is
board
great.
Guy was in there.
Yeah.
Slant board guy, that was phenomenal too.
Did you hear the story?
Like the headliner that brings all the opening acts that you also like,
right?
Like they just brought like a whole posse with them.
That was. You talking about your slant board, Adam?
Yeah. I had brought my slant board, and guy walking by goes, I made that in my driveway in Australia. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm slant board guy. And so we sat there for about an hour and a half, maybe even longer. He showed me his new slant board with the band attachments. The thing's awesome. He gave me a new slant board to go with like the original. He said he called his wife right away. He goes, one of them is sitting right here that we made in our driveway in the first like 3 weeks of the business. And this guy has it. And it's just like by luck, like I happened upon it. I was like, this is cool. And so that connection was, I'm not going to forget that one. That was super cool.
Really neat.
He was fun to talk to as well. He was telling me that he absolutely loves that cooperative atmosphere, that rising tide raises all ships. He was watching the deadlift party, and afterwards we talked for a little bit. I couldn't really hear too much afterwards because of all the blood pressure, but we were talking. He's like, this was just so cool to see. And of course he's got that Australian accent, which makes it like, 1% cooler.
Can you read me books at night when I fall asleep?
Right. Whisper in my ear, tell me I smell good. It was just really cool to hear him talk about the collaborative atmosphere and how it was really cool to watch athletes push each other, to watch vendors push each other. He says he gets questioned all the time on why he keeps coming to the U.S. And he's like, it's because you guys are collaborative. Like, that's what I love. I'm probably screwing up the exact words he said, but that was the message I was getting.
How about that table full of new products at Cleverbuilt?
That's what.
Oh my gosh!
Like, I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. Like, they had an entire table full of new products.
Wasn't it 9?
9.
I thought it was. Yeah, I
releasing
want to say it was 9.
Yeah. they're
yeah.
releasing 9. He and
I'm
Sierra
not gonna
both.
lie, Nice Like
in
Mike
May.
posted a picture of one that he went home with, and I was
Yes.
so
Yeah.
jealous.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
oh man.
Right?
I actually just sent a message today saying I didn't know they were for sale. You got any left? Like,
They're-
what's going on?
Yeah. So many people like would walk by and are like, hey, are these? I was like, they haven't even released those yet.
No.
Like
Yeah.
they look.
Somehow,
Oh
Nice
no!
Like Mike.
Oh, yeah.
Look
Where
at
did you
Oh,
get
yeah,
that?
baby. I got one. I got it on Sunday. Everybody was giving away
you
stuff.
lucky dog.
Oh, he gave it away?
Yeah, man.
You dog. I love it.
Look
It's
at
Hey, that
beautiful.
helps with the tire. That offsets the
Man.
tire cost.
Yeah,
yeah, true. It all comes around.
Yeah,
Man.
not to rub it in or anything. I didn't walk away with like any free barbells or big racks or anything, but Sierra from Cleverbuilt gave this to me, and I was like, man, I
Sweet.
I couldn't ask for anything more. Like, it is such a nice piece of equipment. It is so well done. It's gorgeous. Like, this thing is truly amazing. So, mad props. Thank you to Cleverbuilt.
And the Clevas were super nice just to talk to as
yes.
well.
They were
Like, just absolutely delightful conversationalists.
We talked
Yeah.
about like marriage and I mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
we
it was really cool.
went from like,
It's like,
oh,
wow.
tell me about the knurling here to like, oh yeah, that makes sense in a marriage. Yeah. So no, I love them. They were really cool. I plan on staying in touch.
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry, my headphones went out. Oh, now I can't hear you guys. All right, one sec.
Oh, man.
We're just jealous of Kyle. You're not missing much.
yeah, it's all right. Well,
Oh, man.
we could probably just close it. Was there anything else we want to talk about?
I would just like to reiterate that I had probably the most fun in a single weekend that I've had. I haven't had that much fun in a really long time. It was amazing getting to see everybody. And like, even though I spent the entire weekend talking to people, there's still like so much that I didn't get to do or people I didn't get to connect with. So like, I'm really looking forward to doing that again next year. And immediately after I left, I was just like, got kind of like sad and like, man, like, I can't believe it's over. Like, it went so fast and it was so much fun. And like, I'm so grateful that I went because there will never be another first year. Like, it just felt really magical. And yeah, I can't wait to go again, man.
I think I called Jake the very next day, and I was like, hey, so in 2024, what do we think of this? And what do you think of that?
Oh,
Like, sent Kurt a message. I was like, hey, man, strongman competition. We need ideas. He's like, I'm on it. It's like,
Right.
Yeah,
sketched
I was
up
already
a piece
on
of
it.
paper
The
and, like,
wheels
emailed
just-
it to Jake this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
turning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've
Just in
probably
that
been
room, though.
inundated.
You're not alone, Adam. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that
I,
room, though, just having all those small manufacturers and then like, you know, rep in the middle and then, you know, Bells and their like side of things. Like, it was just like the home gym community all in a nutshell. Like, it was
Absolutely.
Yeah.
super cool.
Well, that's actually what I was going to say was the thing that snuck up on me, kind of surprised me too, was I was looking forward to these vendors and like, oh man, I'm going to check out this equipment, all this stuff. And that was wonderful. And I love meeting, like we just mentioned, Steve and Sierra and all these other vendors, Patrick from Bridgeville and Steve from Benchbox. But, you know, shout out to my man, Joey. The ticket holders were so awesome to talk to. And
Yeah,
like, I
for
just
sure.
kept hanging out with people. And I said, shout out to Joey because I met a lot of people that were so supportive and really, really nice and like came out and watched the podcast and just talked to me about various things or just hanging out by certain booths. But for some reason, like everywhere I went, I kind of bumped into Joey and then I ended up sitting next to him at dinner the one night. And like, he was just a really cool dude who just enjoys home gym and likes to lift. And now I'm following him on Instagram and he's putting up big numbers in his home gym. And
Nice.
he ended up winning that awesome, like HomeGymCon hammer.
The
Yeah.
Banff hammer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joey took home the Banff hammer, and I like celebrated when I saw it in his gym. I was like, "Yeah, Joey got it."
Nice.
So
Yeah.
it ended up being like one of my favorite things. In addition to the vendors, was just like connecting with some of the home gym owners, and you know, making new friends just in the home gym community.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
That was a cool talk, guys. You want to put a cap on this thing? All right, guys, that was the HomeGymCon recap. Hopefully, if you were there, you got to reminisce with us. If you weren't there, hopefully you're really jealous and looking forward to 2024 HomeGymCon, where you can expect powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, strongman, arm grip. What's it called?
Arm lifting.
Arm lifting.
Arm
Come
lifting.
on, Adam.
Arm lifting. Olympic weightlifting, and of course the Garage Gym Games, which I'm excited to hear what Jake has in store for that. Guys, thank you for listening. Kyle, Rob, Kurt, thank you for joining us. Jake, you have anything else left for these listeners?
Nope.
All right, guys.
Peace.